And that's why I call her AR-15.
Christmas, I give you the very next day, you boom, boom, boom.
First to you, we've been talking about Trump's reaction today. We've been talking about the First Lady's speech, which I know you were emotional listening to, and now hearing from Hillary Clinton in front of, if you caught it, the chalkboard, essentially saying, have we gotten to the magic number or the pathway to 270? Your response to what you just heard from the former Secretary of State.
So a couple of things, Brooke. The first thing is Hillary Clinton got to experience, I think for the first time today, even more so than at the convention, why the First Lady is known as the closer. She even just closed with, of course, what Michelle Obama continues to say, which is when they go low, we go high. We saw that today, and I was emotional listening to the speech in part because this has become a very, very emotionally toxic election for so many people. I was on earlier today with someone who said we need to talk about real issues that matter. And can you imagine how that must feel to both women and men who've experienced sexual assault in their lifetime, molestation, rape, whatever. And so this is one of those elections now where it's like people are hurting. They aren't just hurting economically. Some people are hurting mentally. Some people are hurting emotionally. And we have to deal with all of those issues. Hillary Clinton is right. She does need to continue to try to, stay way above the fray. And I think the best person to help her lead that way is Michelle Obama, whose approval rating hovers at 65%, which is much higher than even Hillary Clinton's approval rating was when she was First Lady. And it certainly is higher than where it is now.
Okay. Andre, I want to hear from you. But first, let's just listen to a little bit more sound from Donald Trump from today.
Ask a very simple question. Why wasn't it part of the story that appeared 20 or 12 years ago? Why wasn't it part of the story? Why didn't they make it part of the story? I was one of the biggest stars on television with The Apprentice, and it would have been one of the biggest stories of the year. Think of it. She's doing a story on Melania, who's pregnant at the time, and Donald Trump, our one-year anniversary. And she said, I made inappropriate advances. And by the way, the area was a public area, people all over the place. Take a look. You take a look. Look at her words. You tell me what you think. I don't think so. I don't think so.
Look at her. Look at her words. Andre, again, these are accusations from these different women, and I know Trump is saying they're unequivocally false, but when you talk about even accusations of sexual assault, that's what these stories are, and he says, look at her. Is that appropriate? Is that potentially presidential behavior?
Well, I think he's missing a golden opportunity to show a vast disparity between his plan and Hillary's plan, or Secretary Clinton's plan, when he on issues. It wouldn't be where I'd take the campaign. I would be hammering economic opportunities, national security, getting out of so many other places in the world we shouldn't be. And so I think these are missed opportunities, and every day is vital now. And so I would rather see him not do that. I think Newt Gingrich really hits it on the spot where the vast disparities between these two candidates are, and as long as he's not talking about that, I don't think he's hitting where he should be to get the American people excited about coming out to vote for him.
Andre, can I just ask this? Is your job hard? Is it hard to come out on national TV and defend him?
Well, I don't know that it's hard. It's complicated because I am frustrated. As a guy that supported him early on, I saw so many things that were vastly different between he and the other 16 Republicans that ran, and they excited me. I got so charged up that a business person was going to come in and clean Washington out because I'm fed up with Washington. Mm-hmm. Fed up with the system, I'm fed up with the lobbyists, I'm fed up with the whole process, and so I was ready for a change agent, and he absolutely was able to delineate the difference between he and the other 16 people on the stage. I don't see him doing that now, and so I think those are opportunities to pick up guys like me that jumped on board and were excited about someone that had a different message, but I don't see that message now.
Angela, go ahead. What do you want to say?
Yeah, absolutely. And Andre, I appreciate everything you're saying. I think when you talk about he's missing opportunities, I would actually say that he's missed the opportunity. That train has left the station. This election is no longer about economic issues and health care and foreign affairs and national security issues. It's no longer about ISIS. This is literally about whether or not you want to elect a man who's bragged about sexually assaulting women, who has talked disparagingly about our appearances, who called a former Miss Universe Miss Piggy and Miss Housekeeping. It's about all of the things that we've talked about earlier on, about him potentially racist or racist-ish, as I've said. This is what this election is about. Your candidate has taken it to the lowest common denominator, and now the election is not just about us versus them. It's now really about right versus wrong. I have a 6-year-old godson. Every time he gets in the car, he tells me he hates Donald Trump. He doesn't like Donald Trump. And it's not because we talk politics. I haven't had the opportunity to tell him what I really think about Donald Trump. He's at school when Brooke's show is on. And the unfortunate part about that, aside from him missing your show, Brooke, is that these are things that he has come to the conclusion on of himself. A 6-year-old knows what this election is about. A 6-year-old knows not to touch a girl in that way or a boy in that way. This is what this election is about now, and it's not about the issues anymore. We have to do the right thing.
Well, Angela, I would argue that your candidate has many more warts. When we're talking about she had to beat up Bernie and said so many disparaging things about him, stole the primary from him. You go on through that she gets the questions before the debate. I don't know what part's not true. You talk about how she's taken money from so many foreign governments that then got, I never interrupted you, darling, that then got contracts with the Secretary of State. I totally respect your position, but if we want to start talking about candidates.
You just call me darling at 2:30 in the afternoon, Andre.
Yes,
you don't
and that's
respect
what a
my
Southern
position
gentleman.
at all. Oh,
That's what a Southern gentleman says. Well,
No.
but if you want to interrupt me, I get this game, and
No,
if you don't want me to talk, go ahead. You know, I get stepped on every time. But there are many policies that Hillary Clinton has had. There are many things that we're now learning through WikiLeaks. There are many relationships she's had through foreign governments that are very questionable. And so when you talk about where this country's going, and someone that has no knowledge whatsoever, running a business, creating a job, there are vast disparities between both candidates, and there's a lot of things that she's done that I don't think we want 6-year-olds to see either.
I agree with you, Andre, but I guarantee you, and I'm only going to say this, Brooke, because he's not watching, she's still not talking about grabbing any guy by the nuts. So let's just be frank about that. I'm sorry. Like, we just have to be honest about what it is, and that is where we are. It is the lowest common denominator. I appreciate everything you said, Andre, and of course, reasonable minds can disagree, but this is no longer an election with reasonable minds engaged. Your guy is going nuclear with things that are not fact-based. He's talked about it from the very outset, and not to mention, he's got a hearing coming up about a 13-year-old girl he potentially could have raped. That's where we are. So it's not about all of this other stuff. WikiLeaks probably would have won the day, but your guy is too busy bragging about sexual assault and blaming it on guys who spend time in the locker rooms every day who do not engage in this kind of behavior.
Okay, said it Monday, I'll say it again. Welcome to 2016. You too, Angela Rye, Andre Bauer. Thank you.
And I still love you, Angela.
I love you too, Andre.
I feel the love.
Don't call me
I feel the
darling
love.
on air.
My goodness. My goodness.
Christmas.